I'm here at the Wildlife Conservation Film Festival. Just saw an amazingly sensitive film done by Matthew Podolsky, and it's called Bluebird Man. And what made you decide to do a movie about a relationship of a 91-year-old man with bluebirds?
Really, it was just meeting this character, meeting Al for the first time, and I just immediately got the sense that there was a fascinating story here.
It was absolutely a fascinating story. First of all, he's 91, and the energy, the way he walks, his focus on these bluebirds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he hikes faster than I can.
How do you keep up with him?
Better dexterity, like the fact that he can get those bands and all those.
He's putting little tiny bands on little tiny bluebird feet. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's such a hard thing to do.
For sure. Yeah. So that, I mean, just meeting him and getting to know him, and sort of realizing what a fascinating character he was. But in addition to that, I like to explore those human-wildlife interactions.
Okay. Is that, as a filmmaker, because this is the first film I've seen, I'm sure you've done many, but is that a common thing that you like in your films?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I definitely like to explore those human-wildlife interactions, and I like to show the benefit that people get out of working with wildlife.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like I said in the Q&A, like this symbiotic relationship.
Right.
Al is providing this great benefit for the bluebirds by providing all this nesting habitat and boosting their populations, getting them back up to historic levels. But
look what they're doing for Al.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
The bluebirds have kept Al active and alert into his 90s, and they've provided him with so much joy and meaning in his life.
Right.
This bluebird trail has really became his life work, even though he didn't start doing it until he was like in his early 60s.
I never heard about bluebird trails though till this film. I have a friend that has a llama farm, and the first time I ever heard even about bluebird boxes, he's got them all over his farm. So hard. I'm a backyard birder, as we say. They're so hard to find them.
Yeah, and I mean even more so back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, right? So, and one of the primary reasons for this decline was a loss of nesting habitat, and also increased competition from invasive species like starlings and house sparrows.
Right. You admit the poor sparrows. I had no idea that they did that to the bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them as much anymore.
Right.
You made me not like the sparrows anymore.
Well, I mean, native sparrows are okay, but it's these introduced non-native European house sparrows and the starlings, which are also introduced. That bluebirds don't. They're not. I guess biologically programmed to compete with these species, and so these are two factors. And anyways, like this group of scientists who founded the North American Bluebird Society back in the 70s, sort of came to this realization that if they were to that the best way to bring bluebird populations back up was really to initiate this large-scale, continent-wide citizen science program, basically just encouraging folks to get out, and set up nest boxes and monitor them and maintain them.
It's great. Look at it. It's working.
It absolutely has worked. Bluebird populations are back up to historic levels all across North America. So it's really it's a great and I love telling conservation success stories. We hear so much doom and gloom, and I love being able to tell a story that's a feel-good, success story. Like, look at what we did to help save this.
Right, and it's got a real positive outcome. We've got more bluebirds, and we've got a guy that turned 92 now, and he's still doing it.
Yep.
It's such a great story. You were mentioning the gloom and doom thing. So, were there any, downsides to this film and the making of it? Some films can be very challenging. People come back with their war stories when they've been filming in the jungle or out in the ocean. What about filming the Bluebird Man? Did anything like that happen?
I mean, nothing too crazy, I guess. It was mainly just about keeping up with Al, So Al gets out there on his Bluebird trail, right? And he's got hundreds of boxes to check. And
he's rocking. I saw him out on the Bluebird trail.
He doesn't want to wait around for like a film crew, So I mean, we just had to be ready. It was very much like a run and gun style.
A run and gun style of shooting,
because Al doesn't want to be held up, and he's got 130 boxes to check that day, and we've got to get through them before the end of the day. and
places to go and bluebirds to see.
Yes, for sure. So just keeping up with him, I'd say it was the biggest challenge.
A lot. What's next for you in the kinds of films that you're making?
Well, we produce a lot of short films, like web release docs, about sort of a wide range of different wildlife conservation issues. We actually just launched a podcast. So we'll be releasing these short videos in a podcast format, and then we also have launched a companion, like audio-only podcast. So we're basically interviewing, sort of select characters who are featured in these videos and doing an extended, sort of half-hour long.
Oh, that's wonderful! People love hearing about these characters in these videos. So you specifically, everything you do is geared towards wildlife and relationships with people.
Yeah, for the most part. So the nonprofit that I help run, called Wild Lens, it's a nonprofit production company.
Oh.
We're focused on wildlife conservation.
And it's called Wildlands?
It's called Wild Lens. L-E-N-S.
Wild L-E-N-S.
Yeah.
And specifically conservation issues.
Yep.
I love that you're doing that. We need more people like you to get these messages out there. Your film was absolutely delightful. This is your first year at the Wildlife Conservation Film Festival. How do you think we are making a difference with our films?
You mean films in general, or like specifically
how
the films that are here?
How it affects people, and specifically our festival, the Wildlife Conservation Film Festival. We've got a really broad range of films from all over the world and all kinds of animals. How do you think that helps people, raise awareness, educates people?
Just the dissemination of information, right? I think it's important just for people to know about all these conservation issues that are going on all across the globe, my story is sort of a success story, but it's also sort of a call to action for the next generation to get involved in
You're definitely a call to action.
Continue this project, that Al and others all across the country sort of initiated back in the 70s, and sort of keep it going, make sure it's self-sustaining, but yeah, that's a tricky question. You talk about like the last screening block, and films about rhino and elephant poaching. That's a whole other thing.
We feel though it's really important.
It's of course it's information to get that information out, for sure.
And we feel it's a really great educational tool for people.
Totally.
Right? To get the public, turned on by all of these kinds of things that are going on all over the world. Well, I'm preaching the choir here because you have a wildlife production company. You specialize in these kinds of films. And that's a great thing, really. If you were going to give any advice to, young documentary filmmakers that want to get into the wildlife area, what would you suggest for them?
My advice would be to, if you have a story idea, just get out and start shooting it.
Just do it.
We're lucky enough to live in a point in time when you can shoot a beautiful, professional level documentary with equipment that costs almost nothing.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Right.
It's
great.
It's really unbelievable.
And everybody is shooting everything right now, right?
But I guess I don't know. I don't even know where to start to answer that question. So we work. A lot of what we do with at Wild Lens is we reach out to biologists and scientists and researchers who are interested in telling stories about the research that they're involved with, and are interested in learning more about using film as a medium to tell these conservation and research based stories. And so we work with these folks to basically give them a crash course in filmmaking, basically, and train them in basic shooting techniques, train them in outlining and developing their storylines. The whole gamut.
Wow, you really are doing the whole gamut, I have to say, because the science thing and the film thing a lot of the time are like this, because that's one sort of way of approaching things, and the film is a whole other way. I think it's great when you can bring it together.
Absolutely.
It sounds like that's what you're doing.
That's really our goal, is to bring the science community and the filmmaking community together, and to show these scientists and researchers that they can they can tell these stories in a way that is more accessible to the general public. And that they, their final goal shouldn't be publishing their research in a scientific journal. Their final goal should be something that reaches a wider audience.
Thank you so much. That's exactly right. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Great.
Thank you.
You couldn't have pulled that quote out any